Hey guys, so it's been about a year since I started the channel, so I thought I'd do a quick sort of recap of some lessons learnt and observations that I've seen from sort of various Discord investors and YouTube channels and that sort of thing, and show you a bit of my sort of fire goal chart, which I sort of keep separate generally. I haven't really shown it before, so yeah. First sort of thing I've noticed is people seem to struggle buying the sort of extreme dips and drops and things on sort of certain volatile things, crypto especially. We've sort of had the highs of sort of 50, $60,000 Bitcoin, but yeah, now it's back down to sort of in the 30s. People are scared, potentially selling, and sort of not buying the dip. The same people were sort of, when it was 60, saying they wish it was lower and that they would love to buy lower, and those same people are now not buying. And unfortunately, you can just sort of imagine them when it gets back to sort of 60, 70, 80,000, then they'll be saying, is it a good time to buy? Just a shame, really, that people are sort of in the space. You get the same with stocks, that they're in it, and then sort of suddenly when the good times come, they're saying, should they be buying? And you think, well, you've known about it all this time. It's a bit of a shame, really. Another one is sort of while we're in this since March 2020 sort of bull run with the sort of Nasdaq stocks outperforming most, even with the drops, especially the sort of the FANG stocks. You just don't see anybody sort of talking about value and sort of general stocks, especially on YouTube. It's just the views are for whatever 10x stock or whatever thing's going to the moon, whatever. In the crypto side, it's sort of less people talking about Bitcoin, more talking about Dogecoin and whatever sort of new token, random token is going to rocket up. Bit of a shame on again on that side, because you'd imagine that they're not going to stand the test of time, and people could make a lot more money just sort of buying the tried and tested. But yeah, I'm sure if we do have a crash, then probably those same people are going to exit the market quietly, and you won't hear from them again, and it'll be the sort of value investors who carry on all the way through. Another one was sort of a lesson learned over the last year that FX fees are sort of not really put front and centre. They seem to be sort of, you really have to dig through brokers' sort of terms and conditions to find them, and it can make a huge difference. I mean, I transferred my ISA, or part of the ISA, from Hargreaves Lansdown to iWeb last year. Was going to try and transfer the whole thing, but HL wouldn't allow it. But I sort of wasn't really aware of FX fees as a big issue, and once I got over to IG, I started looking more into it, and yes, they've got no platform. iWeb have got no platform fee, and it's £5 a trade, regardless of what you're doing. But there's an FX fee of 1.5%, which just kills any sort of foreign investment outright, really. I mean, Hargreaves Lansdown is 1%. IG is sort of 0.5%, and then your free trade and 212 are sort of less than that. I think it's just sort of a hidden one that people aren't really noticing. It's sort of not advertised as such. You just see either commission free, or you see, it's £12 a trade, or £10 a trade, £5 a trade. But yeah, so the FX fees can really mount up. I mean, I was looking to transfer all of my iWeb ISA to IG, and if I'd have put it, say, all into one of the foreign sort of gold and silver stocks that I want to hold, then that sort of 30,000 to move would have cost £500 in fees, which obviously is not ideal. So when they're saying £5 a trade, then it's not. Yeah. So trading 212 is not the best for low liquidity. This is part of the reason I sort of wanted two brokers really long term. Sort of learned a few mistakes on trading 212. I've sort of mentioned my Sega purchase before. Pretty sure when I was looking to hit the buy, it was $3.30. When I bought, it seemed to spike up to $3.70. That was my buy price, and then it came back down shortly afterwards. I was only buying under £1,000, so don't think it was me. But yeah, the sort of some other platforms will give you a sort of quote to buy, so you're guaranteed the price that you see on screen. So I may try and do that more on the sort of low liquidity stuff, if possible, on IG going forward. I've just bought some more Argo blockchain and sort of had to, even a £500 buy, seemed to have to split up into sort of £100 at a time to actually get it to go through. So yeah, trading 212's very good, quite happy with it as my main broker, but yeah, for some of the sort of lower liquidity stuff, it's maybe not their strength. Taking profit on sort of volatile investments. I know some people seem to sort of get very anxious on sort of volatile stocks and crypto, especially sort of when things are dropping. People just getting worried, and just sort of think if you haven't got that much invested, I suppose you're trying to wait through it long term and let it grow. Obviously, I bought my crypto a long while ago, when I was sort of 100% up, 200% up. I didn't take profits, to be fair, because it was only a small amount. But yeah, if you start sort of making a hell of a lot, just taking a small amount, even 5%, 10%, if it rockets up, maybe 15 or 20%, just sort of keeps you calmer, really, for when things then drop. You think, well, I've got some decent profit out of it. If you still think it's going up, then you can hold on, and yeah, you don't get sort of quite as worried when things drop. So just a bit of a suggestion, not financial advice, of course. And diversification. Seen sort of so many people sort of putting out videos and sort of chat on Discord about diversification sort of being this terrible thing that you basically haven't got a clue what you're doing. I don't really see it that way. Like on the stock side, I've had sort of, some of my smaller conviction stocks, I guess, things like Key Group, sort of little stock for the builders in the UK. They're one of the sort of, I think, the second largest construction firm in the UK. And I've sort of got relatively small amount in those, but it's up 130%. So if I'd slimmed down and sort of focused on my top 10 stocks, say, I would have sort of missed out on that. And obviously if I was, they wouldn't have been in my top 10 because it was a fairly sort of speculative investment. So yeah, I mean, same on the crypto side. Some of my sort of much lower cap coins have done really well. I even punted a little bit into Dogecoin, not sort of a high conviction stock. I didn't believe it was going anywhere really, but just because it was a small amount, I let it run, and I can't even remember how much I made. I bought about £250 worth, and I think I sold the whole lot for about £6,000. So yeah, again, if you don't believe in diversification, I would have held it all in my sort of core, maybe top 5 coins, and would have missed out on that. Some people will see that as, my top conviction stocks or crypto coins are not very good, and I should have had it all in the ones that have gone up the most. But that's sort of looking with hindsight. Not really the way to do things, I don't think. So, I just see a broad sort of portfolio as something fine. The sort of smaller stuff that you're interested in, you can just put a small amount in. You're not quite as bothered if it goes down, so you tend to sort of let it run. And the sort of, if that's risky stuff, then you can let it run and it may do really well. And then you can sort of sell off and put it into your more high conviction stocks or coins. So I don't see it as the sort of protection against ignorance. I know people are sort of quoting lots and lots of Warren Buffett videos sort of coming out, him saying you need 3 stocks and that's it, that's all you need for life. I do sort of keep pointing out that they own about 50 public stocks and about 75 private businesses. He doesn't really need to hold 50 public companies even. They could consolidate that. But so just sort of, that's my thoughts on diversification really. And so just to sort of take a look at my sort of long-term graph. This is sort of not quite the very beginning of investing. I sort of bought my Bitcoin in 2013, but around sort of 2015 it was still sort of mostly worthless, and this was me just sort of mostly saving up cash. And the sort of crypto was moving around a little bit. Obviously it was bigger percentage moves than it looks like here. This isn't log scale, this is linear scale all the way up to sort of my ultimate goal of about 600,000-700,000, probably closer or a bit above 700,000 now. So sort of mid 2017s to late 2017 is when we had the first crypto run up to sort of $20,000. I took some profit, but not a lot. That was sort of lesson learned. And sort of the crash back down doesn't look quite as harsh here, probably because I had a lot of cash still. This is my sort of total portfolio, so this includes a lot of cash still. But we had the sort of long big bear market, and that was sort of, I've plotted the red line as a sort of a benchmark that I'm trying to stick to. Obviously it steepens at the end as I'm expecting sort of a rise in crypto, and I've sort of steepened this curve over time as obviously as the actual crypto has gone up. The red line wasn't quite as steep towards the end as before, but I was sort of exceeding it quite a lot, so I've adjusted the red line. The blue line is actual portfolio value, and the red line is sort of target benchmark, if you like. So towards sort of after the March crash, I mean the March crash looks barely anything. This was me sort of around March to May 2019. I sort of put all of my cash into gold and silver mining funds mainly. So sort of the mid 2019 was also the crypto little mini run up. But yeah, over this time, sort of gold was doing well, so it stemmed a lot of the losses. And yeah, this was the crypto crash for me in March, the sort of great big stocks and shares sell off. But I didn't have a huge amount of I didn't have any really general stocks at all at this time. I was in almost all in gold and silver stocks and crypto, so didn't quite go down too much, and fairly quickly rebounded. And this was where I was sort of doing quite well in the gold and silver. Had a little sort of consolidation, more getting into stocks around this time. And yeah, then we had the sort of crazy run up from Bitcoin at sort of, I think like $10,000 it was around here, to sort of all the way to 60,000. And so all the way through this time I was selling off crypto and sort of buying stocks in the Trading 212 account, in the Invest account mostly. That's how it's risen to sort of 150k now. Yeah, and now we've sort of had the last couple of months obviously dipping back down, but still sort of above my target benchmark. So again, sort of planning this out in advance, again, just sort of keeps you a bit calmer. Obviously, the run up, I was sort of thinking that I had a buffer really to drop if necessary, and I'd still be on target. But while taking a lot of profit, even because this was sort of incredibly steep rise. So yeah, not too bad really. And then obviously this is the most recent month, the end of June. So yeah, hopefully coming up on the target, and may exceed that by sort of, I've put up to March next year, because I was sort of thinking the crypto high hopefully would be sort of either the end of the year up here somewhere hopefully, or sort of Q1 March 2022. So yeah, that's my sort of ultimate goal, probably 700,000, maybe sort of 750,000, and then I would sort of largely get out of the crypto side and sort of be buying stocks to provide an income. Not necessarily dividend stocks, as you've seen sort of from my holdings. It's more just a total return, hoping to achieve sort of inflation plus 4%, which sort of at the moment I think would be about 7 or 8% overall. But yeah, I'd rather sort of say 4% plus inflation rather than 7 or 8%, because I'm a firm believer in sort of higher inflation going forward. But yeah, we'll see where we go over the next few months, and sort of over the next year of the channel. Yeah, give us your thoughts if you've got any sort of suggestions for the channel, and yeah, we'll have a think and see what the next year brings. So like, comment and subscribe, and see you soon.